It's a Saturday night here in Toronto, and the weather has been crappy all day, and I don't got plans until later tonight. So I figured, and also, by the way, the NHL trade freeze for the expansion draft has just passed. So I figured, why not go live and mess around a little bit more on Cap Geek and haha moron. But yeah, just mess around a little bit on sorry, not Cap Geek, Cap Friendly, and talk about the Shea Weber news also, because I haven't had a chance to talk about that yet here on this channel. Awful to hear that Shea Weber's not only his ability to play this year, but his career is in jeopardy, and the surgeries and all the treatment that he's going to go for this off season will likely will be for his long-term health, like his quality of life, and not just his ability to play hockey. And that is honestly more important at the end of the day. But yeah, a couple of crazy trades today. You had Cody Glass get moved around. You had here Andrew Ladd, probably a salary dump to the Arizona Coyotes from the Islanders. You had Ryan Ellis going to Philly from Nashville. The Leafs acquired Jared McCann. So quite a few interesting things. What I find most interesting about today also is that the St. Louis Blues did not protect Vladimir Tarasenko. So I don't know if that's an issue of him still being very injury prone, or the fact that they just screwed up his rehab process, or his like they just didn't take care of his of rehabilitating his injuries properly, or that they were so bad at rehabbing him that they couldn't re-sign him. And anyway, it's really interesting. That to me is like one of the headlines, or quite low-key the biggest headline, one of the biggest headlines of the day, that Tarasenko is eligible to be drafted by the Seattle Kraken. But anyway, enough of me yapping. I'm pretty much going to yap here anyway, talking about the Montreal Canadiens and the expansion draft. But yeah, I talked about, let's go on Cap Geek here. I keep calling it Cap Geek, Cap Friendly, and see what the Canadiens can do this offseason following the expansion draft here. Jake Allen, much has been made about Jake Allen. I heard some back and forth reports from Darren Dreger, and we all have, in terms of whether Jake Allen is going to get claimed or not. But the good news is Yaroslav Halak is going to test free agency, so he could be a decent backup option. But as you could see here, Shea Weber, I'm assuming, will not get protected. Neither will Jonathan Drouin. So let's put them on LTIR for now. And obviously, God bless them, and hope that they are well enough to, to have a good quality of life and be happy with their families, and more so than just their ability to come back and play hockey. But so like I said, Dixon Automotive Group likely losing Jake Allen, so I'm going to keep him here for now, and let's take care of our protection list. So I've kind of been a little bit back and forth on this. I would say you got to protect Toffoli at forward. Toffoli, Suzuki isn't eligible to be claimed, even if he doesn't have to be protected. Gallagher, he's an NMC, so he's by default protected. Anderson, you protect Josh Anderson. But here's where things get interesting. I mean, look, I'm gonna re-sign Kotkaniemi first and foremost over here. So let's pull that up over here. Sign RFA, Kotkaniemi. And I think you can expect similar money to what Lehkonen got, maybe even a little bit less. I think 2.4 is a good number for a young center who it might even be a little bit rich, but I'll just say 2.4 because that's basically what Lehkonen got. And Lehkonen produced a little bit more, but again, center position is more valuable than wing position. So let's just put Kotkaniemi down for 2.4 for 2 years. Then Ryan Poehling, I don't think he is eligible for expansion, but I would give him, let's say, I think I've been giving him 1.55. Yeah, I'll just give him 1.55 for 2 years. Should be a fair number, even though he hasn't played. 1.55 for 2 years. A little bridge deal there. Now, here's where things get interesting, though, because, Kotkaniemi, he has to get protected because he's eligible for expansion. So far, I only have 5 forwards, but the other guy, I think that's where I've been with Arturi Lehkonen, I have not been protecting him in the last couple of times I've done this exercise, but I think that he's a guy that will and probably should get protected. He is an RFA, and I would honestly, I don't think he really deserves. I mean, look, he scored the biggest goal in Montreal Montreal Canadiens history for the last 30 years that led them to the Stanley Cup final. But in terms of what he did in the regular season, I don't think he's really worth more than the 2.5 that I'm about to give him right now. So I'd say I'd keep him around 2.5, maybe at most, let's say 2.7. Yeah, 2.5 is a good number, honestly. Flat cap league, that's a fair number for him. Maybe 2 or 3 years. You've seen Gallagher actually get a little bit more than that. I'm curious. What's Brendan Gallagher? What was his contract? CapFriendly. What was his contract before the $6 million one that he signed? 3.75, 2015, 2016. Yeah, he's not going to be worth 375. But yeah, let's just say 275 for Lehkonen. That's a good number. 275 for, let's say, 2 years. There you go. And he's a guy I think realistically they protect right now. Caulfield doesn't have to get protected. Suzuki doesn't have to get protected. I am not protecting Paul Byron. That contract, 3.4. I'm sorry. Just great. Look, he was great in the playoffs, great at his role in the playoffs on that third line, but I'm not protecting Paul Byron with that contract. So I have 6 forwards so far. I have to choose a 7th. And here's where I don't know if it's going to be Yoel Armia who will probably get overpaid. A lot of talk. So in this exercise, I'm assuming that Danault, unfortunately, is walking in free agency, because that's another big thing since I've done this exercise most recently on Tuesday, is that Philip Danault is most likely walking. And if he's most likely walking, why protect him? Why protect him? So here's the thing. I mean, I protected Corey Perry the last time I did this exercise, and it might not make sense to do that because of the fact, or he might not have to protect Corey Perry because he might just not accept it. He's a pending UFA and he just has the ability to not accept a contract from Seattle. But what if Seattle gives him a lot of money? And again, in this position right now, the Habs, I'd still have to protect one more forward. And I don't want it to be Paul Byron. I don't think it should be Drouin. I would honestly, Armia, like, are they going to, like, what are they going to pay Armia? Like, are they going to have to overpay Armia? I don't know. Like logically it would be Armia, but again, I just don't see him being worth what he's going to command. So I don't know. Yeah, 2.6. He's most likely getting a raise from that. I don't think I'd pay Yoel more than 3.5. So yeah, he might have to test the open market of that. I mean, look at that, 22 points. I think these are 2019 numbers. Yeah, I think they're probably 2019 numbers. But great in the playoffs, 2 inconsistent in the regular season. Yeah, I might have to use that extra protection on maybe Corey Perry, even though it might not make sense to do so. And I will re-sign him at, let's say, I'd say 225. Let's say 225. I think that's a fair number for Corey Perry. Yeah, let's do that. 2 years, 225. So it's basically a 5.5. Sorry, a 4.75, $4.5 million extension. Yeah. Or let's see. Let me just remind myself, what did Wayne Simmons get? I mean, Corey Perry was much better than much more valuable than Wayne Simmons was to the Leafs. I think we could agree on that. But just in terms of comparing contracts, yeah, $900K. So yeah, Corey Perry, I think that's a fair number, 225 for 2 years. There we go. So, and I would use a protection spot on Corey Perry. So the 7 forwards I'm protecting here are Toffoli, Evans, Gallagher, Lehkonen, Kotkaniemi, Anderson, Corey Perry. Defense is a lot more simple. Pretty simple here. Weber's on LTIR and exposed, but I think they'd have to protect Edmondson, Sherratt, and Petrie at this point. And goaltender, Carey Price. So that was easy. Exposed Brett Kulak. Romanov doesn't have to be protected. But what could be interesting is that I think Cale Fleury is eligible to be drafted by the Seattle Kraken, and he is an RFA. So I'm not going to put Cale Fleury down as someone that I'm protecting. So yeah, this is basically what you are left, what the Habs would be left with right now post expansion going into the draft. And where do they go from there? Well, free agency. Let's see. Obviously, you have the draft, but let's play this free agency game and trades game. So, as you can see, what my biggest fear is that there is a gaping hole at right defense right now, a really big hole at right defense. So, what I'm going to try to do here, I guess, is we're going to try to see if we could go for Dougie Hamilton. And we're also going to see if we can try to get a scoring winger and fit all that under the cap. Although right now, again, at $18 million of cap space, that is possible. And also, another thing is, again, this is where the Paul Byron $3.4 million kind of hurts. So, yeah, let's see what we can do here, whether it's Dougie Hamilton or David Savard and Jason Demers, or maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do trades just yet, but let's see what we can do here. So, first things first, let's go out and get Dougie Hamilton. Let's see. I'm given what Miro Heiskanen got paid as a young, up-and-coming stud defenseman by the Dallas Stars, is like $8.8 million cap hit. I think Dougie Hamilton would command at least 9, and that's also in the ballpark of what Pietrangelo got. So you know what? I'll just give Dougie Hamilton the $7 million contract. Or the $9 million contract that was given to pretty much Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo is 8.8. So let's say 8 years. Let's say 7 years. 7 years, $9 million. He slots in on the right side. And now the Habs have $9.5 million in cap space still to spend. But here's the thing, though. Here's where it gets a little tricky. You know what? I'm going to say Jake Allen gets claimed in the expansion draft. So I'll put Jake Allen unofficially on LTIR, but let's just say claimed in the expansion draft. So now the Habs have $12.3 million to spend. Still need a goaltender, still need a right-handed defenseman, and ideally another forward. So goaltender, I'm going to play this fun game here and sign Yaroslav Halak. Yaroslav Halak over here. Yaroslav Halak, we'll say about, what is that? I think he'll be worth a little bit. I think he could be had for a little bit less than the 225 there. Let's say 36 years old. 2 years. I don't know. Let's say 1 year, $2 million. I think is a good number for Halak. 1 year, $2 million. How about that? And here's your backup behind Carey Price, because that's fun, and that will be a really fun storyline. Obviously, a lot of other goaltenders out there. But yeah, I think that whether it's Halak or other goaltenders out there, I think the Habs could get a bargain, or keep Jake Allen if Jake Allen does not get claimed in the expansion draft. And I'm playing this as if Habs absolutely hockey. I'm playing this as if Jake Allen got taken in the expansion draft. So honestly, if it's Halak at a bargain or someone else at a bargain, it's got to be that, unless you want to put Caden Primo as the backup behind Carey Price, because again, I'm putting Jake Allen as claimed in the expansion draft. So yeah, $10 million to get potentially another forward, and another bottom pair defenseman ideally. I mean, this isn't horrible right now here. This isn't horrible in terms of a blue line. Hamilton, Edmondson, or let's say Petrie, Edmondson, Hamilton, Sherratt, maybe even Romanov bumps up the lineup. Maybe Romanov plays with Petrie and Hamilton could play with Edmondson or Sherratt. That would be fun. And then Sherratt gets the bottom pair with like Kulak or a signed right-handed defenseman. But honestly, this is where, again, the Weber injury, I mean, look, I feel for the guy, but this is almost where the Weber injury is worse than originally thought in terms of like the Habs situation on defense. The other thing is, again, I'm not doing trades right now, but is if they go after Ristolainen, maybe from Buffalo, but that's not a guarantee. And I'm not doing trades just yet for that. I can maybe do another video where I do trades. But yeah, so this is the blue line right now. But again, a bit stuck at forward, or not in the best situation at forward. So let's see what UFAs are still available. I mean, here's where you could go for Ovechkin, maybe Ovechkin. But I don't know if he will be realistic. You know, let's just have fun. Why not? Let's just have some fun and see if we could get Ovechkin here. What did I say we had left? 10.3. Let's say Ovechkin. Yeah, it's gonna get tight against the cap if they go after Ovechkin in this case. Yeah, might not be able to be Ovechkin here. Also, look at the center position. Like, the center position is pretty thin right now. Not Parise. Who am I going here? Who am I going for here? I honestly, so I might not be in. This might not be popular of an opinion here, but I'm not in the. I'm not of the type to, or of the. I'm not in that group of people that wants Landeskog, honestly. And I think they might maybe end up staying in Colorado. So I'm not going to overpay Landeskog long term. There are rumors about Ovechkin going to the Habs if they don't re-sign him. I mean, that's a big if they don't re-sign him. And I think Washington is pretty much going to re-sign Ovechkin. So I would not. You know what? Let's just have fun. Let's just see. Let's just go Ovechkin, 2 years. Let's say 11 million, because that's what it would probably cost him sign. And the Habs are kind of screwed right now in terms of the cap, because they only had like 10.8 left to spend. But yeah, this is where, again, if they go after Dougie Hamilton, it's going to be a tough situation here to get like an Ovechkin. Like, if we're going with the Ovechkin pipe dream. So this is where, as you could tell, at the 619K over the cap, it's tough to sign Ovechkin in this situation. So let's just pretty much undo that. I mean, the other option is maybe if Corey Perry, you know what if I sign Corey Perry for a little bit less? Let's see if Corey Perry can be had at $2 million. Let's see. Or even like one, let's say even, 1.75, because he's still getting paid by Anaheim. Let's say, or even, you know what, 1.5. Let's say 2. Let's say 2. I think 2 is an okay number. Let's see about that. Might not really help that much, because then they'll still be 400 over the cap. For right now, I'm just trying to play the dream where they get Ovechkin. That's all. You know what? Yeah, let's just keep doing. Let's put Byron on LTI. Let's just say Byron gets claimed by somehow in the expansion, or gets bought out or put on waivers. This is how it has to happen. Okay, so now I'm playing the game of for the Habs to get Ovechkin and Hamilton, which is crazy. And just keep in mind, I'm just screwing around here. Just screwing around, not suggesting anything, but yeah, let's just go all in. Who cares? 11 here for 2 years. Sign. Boom. And then let's add. I think there's still money left to sign a bottom pair defenseman. Let's say David Savard, maybe. And then there's not going to be room for another forward there. Yeesh. Just, again, screwing around here. Let's just see what happens. See what we can do. See what we can get. Savard will be more expensive. So let's say Demers. Oops. What am I doing here? Demers, 4.5. Let's say Demers at 2.75 or 2.5. Demers is how old again? 33. So yeah, let's say 3 years at 2.5. And this is, again, probably not verging on very unrealistic here, but again, and that's 500K left to spend on a, you know what, Halak. Let's put Halak at 1.75. Halak over here. Yaroslav Halak, 1.75. For now, we could give him that second year. Sign. There we go. And then Alex Belzil will be the extra forward, or like Lucas Veggie. But maybe let's get Elonen in there if we can. You know what? I'll edit Paling. Or I think Lehkonen. I could afford to. Yeah, it's Lehkonen because every time I did this exercise, I didn't sign Lehkonen. So it could be Lehkonen screwing me up right here. What's it called? Corey Perry was 750K. He would want 700. Corey Perry to me is going to command more than 750K there. Habs absolutely hockey. So I guess, you know what? Okay. Again, let's just give Corey Perry less here. How about that? I'll say Corey Perry will be 1.5 mil. Corey Perry, because if the Leafs can keep Jason Spezza, yeah, like look at this. If the Leafs can keep Jason Spezza and Wayne Simmons on for less, then yeah, please 750K. So I could give Corey Perry could be worth like let's say 1.5. How about that for Corey Perry? 2 years. He's still getting paid by Anaheim. Just give him 1.5. There you go. And what else? Lehkonen. I'll keep Lehkonen up there at 2.75. Or even Lehkonen I'll bring down to 2.5. How about that? Let's see. Lehkonen. And again, this is just like the dream version of what the Habs could do right now. Lehkonen. This is a sign RFA. Lehkonen. Here we go. 2.5. That's what I was doing. 2.50. Sign for 2 years, let's say. There we go. And then bring up one more spot for another forward over here. 1.5 to spend. Let's say Elonen. And then do what you owe that 600K. So here's basically my pipe dream of what the Habs will look like in 2021, 2022. Let's edit the lines here. Let's put Kotkaniemi 2C, Evans 3rd center, Lehkonen, Perry, Elonen, Paling, Ovechkin obviously goes to the top line. Anderson, Kotkaniemi, Gallagher. That sounds like a fun line. This is weird. Hold up. Kotkaniemi, Toffoli, and Anderson. How about that? Or Gallagher, Caulfield, Suzuki, Ovechkin, and then Anderson. No, this is weird. Hold up. Lehkonen. I need guys that are defensively responsible here. You know what? Yeah, sure. Let's go Kotkaniemi, Toffoli, Anderson. Or no, it was Gallagher. That's what I'm missing. Gallagher, Toffoli, Kotkaniemi. There you go. Anderson, Evans, Lehkonen, Elonen, Perry, and Paling. And that is our forward group. And our D, our blue line, looks like this over here with Hamilton, Edmondson, Romanov, Petrie, or you could put Sherratt with Petrie, and then Demers and Romanov, and Price and Halak with 624K to spend. Now, this is, I guess, like a combination of my dream versus what is realistic. So, and with Dano being out and with Byron being claimed. So a lot has to happen for this to happen. But I just, Ovechkin, this is with the Ovechkin and Dougie Hamilton getting signed by the Habs, which I highly doubt. And obviously Byron getting claimed. So still a lot has to go right for this to happen. And the Habs are very young and inexperienced at center, but they could be good at center. So anyway, let's see your comments on this here. Don't want Demers. What is that? Perry loves Montreal. He would let us give 750K. Forward group is stacked. Love the forward defense and goalie group. So a lot of love from Habs. Absolutely hockey here. But again, Corey Perry though, I feel like would deserve a little bit more than 750K. But Demers though, I'm saying Demers would be in this situation signed because Savard, they would not be able to afford David Savard in this situation. You could see the Habs go after, or I could see Dougie Hamilton go to the Habs if Carolina does not get re-signed, or if he does not get re-signed by Carolina. Here's the thing with Dougie Hamilton, though. The Canadiens won't be the only team that wants Dougie Hamilton. There will be sweepstakes for Dougie Hamilton. And when this has happened for every big free agent, they don't always come to Montreal. Although, which is just makes it that much more impressive that Tyler Toffoli ended up becoming a Montreal Canadian. I can't believe it. Like, honestly, how, like, that's like a steal that the Habs got friggin' Tyler Toffoli at $4.25 million a season for 3 more years in free agency. And he was their leading goal scorer this year. Like, unreal. Just unreal. But yeah, okay. So this is, again, with 624 left of cap space, this is what I guess my sort of dream / sort of ish Habs look for the 2021 season. Call it my dream, but also accounting for a little bit of realities with Danault not coming back, and Jake Allen getting claimed in expansion, and the Habs winning the Dougie Hamilton sweepstakes, and Ovechkin not going back to Washington. So yeah, this is what it looks like. The other option is you could also maybe get like a veteran center, maybe like Stahl for cheap, and Paling on the wing, and Ylonen stays in the AHL. But now let's make things a little bit more realistic now. So let's refresh and just or let's reset everything here. How can I reset all this? Is there a reset button around here? Or I could just do this. Delete. Lehkonen, delete. Ylonen, send down. Over here. Jake Allen. We'll bring back Paul Byron. So I'll say we're still going to say that Shea Weber, Drouin, and Jake Allen don't return as Canadians, and Drouin gets claimed in the expansion draft and goes unprotected. But Byron does not. We'll say we could keep the Perry contract. Let's say 1.5, maybe even, I'll give Perry $2 million. How about that? Let's say Perry for $2 million over here. There we go for, let's say, 2 years. So 2 years, $4 million. Halak, I'll undo the Halak signing because I'll see if I could get a better goaltender. I'll undo the Demers signing over here, and I'll undo the Dougie Hamilton signing. And what am I missing here? Gallagher, Perry, Paling. Yeah. Okay, so Kotkaniemi I'm keeping at 2.4. I guess I could keep Lehkonen. Yeah, you know what? I'll have to re-sign Lehkonen here. Not really much of a choice at this point. I'll say let's say 2.6. Give him a $200K raise instead of There we go. Let's say 2 years. Keep him in RFA. There we go. Bring him down. Lehkonen's there. Yeah, so this is pretty much everything in terms of, again, Weber not getting protected, Allen getting claimed in the expansion draft. This is pretty much the starting point if they sign Corey Perry, Kotkaniemi, and Lehkonen, $21 million to spend in free agency. So here's another option. What if they go with right-handed defenseman? Perry at $1 million. Again, guys, I see Perry getting more. I would be impressed if Perry gets only $1 million. You know what? Let's put it this way. What is Corey Perry getting paid by Carolina here? Or by Anaheim, excuse me. Corey Perry buyout. CapFriendly. So where's Anaheim? Let's see. He is getting paid buyout. Yeah, so he's getting paid another $2 million a season by Anaheim. So I'd say I think maybe 1 million, 1.5 million is a good number for Corey Perry. How about that? Let's put him at 1.5. I know I'm negotiating with you guys and myself here a lot, but yeah, let's see. Corey Perry over here. This is a UFA, so I have to do that. Perry. and 1.5. So that will basically mean that Corey Perry is getting paid $3.5 million between the Habs and the Anaheim Ducks. So there we go. Anderson, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Lehkonen I kept at 2.6, which might be a little rich, honestly, but that he was at 2.4, and I think he will be getting a bit of a raise, possibly. Yeah, so I'll say one. Yeah, we'll keep it as is right now, just going back to the comment section. But anyway, okay, here's our starting point. Now, here's something where if the Habs cannot get Dougie Hamilton, which I would not be surprised of, because again, the Canadiens will not be the only team going after Dougie Hamilton. Let's see. You can either they're not going to protect Cale Fleury. Here's where they might have to go look at a trade, or here there have to be like, this is where the Weber thing sucks, man, even more. But from a hockey standpoint, obviously from a human standpoint first and foremost, but from a hockey standpoint. But guys like Martinez or Ryan Suter, the problem with signing those guys is that the Habs, like, I'd rather not put Romanov on his opposite side. I'd rather not have guys on their opposite sides if they're not comfortable being played on their opposite side. So I'm talking about Romanov and Kulak. I feel like they should be, if they're not going to be consistent, then at least give them a chance to be steady on their left sides, on their comfortable sides, and not on the right sides, which is why I would strongly consider looking at right-handed defensemen. And here's where you guys might not really like this, but the Habs might not really have a choice. But David Savard, give him a Joel Edmondson contract, 375 over here. There we go. Then also you'll have to look at Demers. Is there anyone else I'm thinking of here? I'm talking about just strict UFAs, not via trades here. I'm not doing trades just yet. I'm looking strictly at unrestricted free agent right-hand defenseman. Niskanen retired. Goligoski, and he's a lefty. Demers righty. Who else? David Savard. Adam Larson. Adam friggin' Larson. He is not. He has not lived up to his potential, that we all know. Not Eric Goodbranson. Not going after Eric Goodbranson. Tyson Barrie. Not in love with Tyson Barrie because he is good on the power play. Good with McDavid and Draisaitl on the power play, but we all saw how he played in Toronto. And I mean, look, he might not be that terrible, honestly. He might not be that terrible, but the one thing in common between Larson and between all of these right-handed defensemen that are free agents that are not named Dougie Hamilton is that I would not pay any of them long-term the way that I would pay Dougie Hamilton, or the way that Dougie Hamilton will have to get paid long-term, and probably deserves it. Might not deserve it, but at least the term and the money. But he definitely deserves the money with at least like a good 6 to 5 years, but 7 to 8 years might be pushing it. But that's what it will likely take to sign Dougie Hamilton. But anyway, so again, here's where I'm thinking, if you can get either Savard, Demers, who else was I thinking? Adam Larson, excuse me. Tyson Barrie, and who else? That's pretty much it. Yeah. So of those 4 guys, take the 2 that you can get the best. The preferably Savard would be one. I think I already signed him. Yeah. So David Savard is there. So now of the 3 between Larson, Demers, and Tyson Barrie, take the guy that you can get the best bargain for. I tend to prefer Jason Demers, and also more in terms of like short term, not even long term. So let's say Jason Demers. What was his contract before? Let's say Jason Demers at 3.25. Well, let's give him the Joel Edmondson number here. 3.5. There we go. For about, let's say he's what, 33 years old. Let's give him 3 years, 3.5, which might not be a great contract, to be honest. You know what? Even let's say 2 years, 3.5. How about that? There we go. Jason Demers. That's it. So this is basically what you're looking at in terms of a defense standpoint. Yeah, kind of something like that, I would say. You still need a goaltender. So let's see goaltenders here. Need a UFA goaltender. No, not Tuukka Rask, not Frederik Andersen, not Devin Dubnyk, not James Reimer. Like that just shows you how many good goaltenders are going to be potentially available. Grubauer is going to command more than that. Mrazek will probably command more than that. Carter Hutton, probably not. David Riddick will probably get kept by Toronto. Like, look at all these goaltenders that will be available. David Riddick, Linus Ullmark, Anders Nielsen, Yaroslav Halak. I mean, yeah, Mike Condon, former Montreal Canadian there. Brian Elliott could step in, fill a potential backup role. Maybe Mike Smith. I'll probably stay in Edmonton, though. Let's just say, yeah, Drieger's. I heard word that Drieger's likely going to get selected by Seattle. So let's say Drieger and Jake Allen are the guys that get selected by Seattle. Yeah. Who would I go with here, honestly? What do you guys think in the comment section here? Sorry, I have to move it out of the way of my camera. Can't see Montreal paying $10 million a year to a defensive forward or a defense, yeah. And Barry is horrible defensively, yeah, exactly. He's like Gus, exactly, yeah. So Tyson Barrie could very well be another Eric Gustafson, Bernier, Reimer. Let's go with James Reimer. 22 games. I think that's from 2019. I don't love Bernier, to be honest. I don't love Bernier. Let's go with James Reimer. Let's say James Reimer for, let's say a cap hit of, 3.4. Let's give him the Jake Allen money here. 2.8000 for about 2 years, let's say. And that's your backup behind Carey Price. So there you go. Yeah, that was, again, if Jake Allen, that just shows if Jake Allen gets claimed, the Canadians will have options, but yeah. You know what? Yeah, we'll stick with James Reimer. So that's what the D looks like. Now let's look at forward here. So here's where, if they're not going to get a guy like Ovechkin, do they want to insulate the center position a little bit more? So I'm thinking, let's look at all forwards here, all free agents that are available. Again, just going based off free agency only. I don't think Ryan Getzlaf is an option. I don't know if Ryan Getzlaf is the answer at center. Not like to fulfill maybe to fulfill the Stahl role, but not the Deneau role. David Krejci could be interesting to fulfill the Deneau role, maybe. I think Stastny will, like these guys are just, yeah, like Stastny maybe. Stastny's interesting. If Stastny is available, he could be interesting. I would also like to test the waters on Derek Stepan. I know you got hurt last year, but yeah, man, it's tough, honestly. Like that's where, like, if you're not getting like a star winger, then fulfilling the Deneau spot is going to be tough. What do you guys think in the comment section here? Concern with Sheldon Weisberg. Concern about Reimer is that he put up better numbers when he played frequently as a number one. And yeah, that's my concern as well, honestly, which is why I would not love James Reimer. But let's just say for the exercise, for the sake of this exercise, it's James Reimer here. And I don't think James Reimer could be, like, he might not, like, also keep in mind Jake Allen's numbers last year, 907 save percentage, 268 goals against average, and like a 500 record. So I think that, like, James Reimer, he doesn't have to play 40, 50 games. He just has to play like 30 games, hopefully. So yeah. Where am I at? Oh yeah, look, going back to the center position. So who should we insulate the center position with? Little veteran guy. Honestly, maybe Stastny. Maybe Stastny, maybe Krejci. Krejci would be a good ad at center. But here's the other thing. I also don't want to take I don't want to take opportunities away from Kotkaniemi. Yeah. Bozak, maybe? Tyler Bozak? Maybe he could be had at a bargain. And he's a good defensive center. You know what? I'm going to go Tyler Bozak on this for cheap. Let's see if we get Tyler Bozak for cheap. Also, Granlund's not a bad option. He's a bit undersized, though. He's good offensively, but not really great defensively. Yeah, just open, like just so many options, and I just hard to say where they're going to go. Need a left-handed winger, big time that can score. Yeah, I'm going to get there in a sec there, Dixon Automotive Group. Just trying to figure out who I want the most at center. You know what? Stastny might stay in Winnipeg, potentially. Did they sign Stastny or did they trade for him? I forget. Yeah. Let's go with Bozak, honestly. Yeah, let's go with Bozak. Just because cheap, won't need a lot of money. Won't need a big commitment. Veteran guy, won a Stanley Cup, was in a shutdown role in the Stanley Cup final. I mean, that was also mostly Ryan O'Reilly, but still. Yeah, let's just go with Bozak at 2 for 2 years. Here you go. That gives you the option to play him either on the wing, or at center. Good versatility there. And then Paling also could slot in at the left wing. So here's kind of what we're looking at right now. And you could still go after Ovechkin. You could still have to go after Ovechkin if he's available. But I don't know if he will be. So this is like my kind of realistic look at what the Habs will be next year. Let's put Josh Anderson over here with Caulfield on the wing here. There we go. Lehkonen. I'd want Kotkaniemi, Gallagher, and Toffoli as the second line. I think that's not a bad second line, honestly. Then it would be, let's say, Evans with Lehkonen and Byron. Put those 3 guys together. Then Bozak, Paling, and Perry as like your veteran Stahl, Perry, Armia line. So this is like kind of like and here, guess what? The Habs still have $10 million still to spend in cap space. So maybe Glendening. Yeah, Stastny was traded back to Winnipeg, but he could be available as a free agent, maybe. Maybe it's a little premature to do this exercise, not going to lie, but again, just having a little bit of fun here, why not? But let's see, free agent scoring players. I don't think I'm going to look at Taylor Hall because he's likely staying in Boston. Yeah, not a lot of scoring winger options here. I mean, that's why they're tough to come by. Landeskog, not Foligno. Don't give me Foligno. Maybe Jaden Schwartz, but not really. Marian Hosa's still there. Maybe Kyle Palmieri. Not really. Here's where I'd maybe look more at a trade for that scoring winger, honestly, versus free agency. Yeah, I'd probably look more at a trade at this point, which I'm not going to do in this exercise. So you know what? Let's revert back to Ovechkin. I'm going back to Ovechkin. Why not? 11. There we go. 2 years. Boom. Sign. And a little over the cap. So let's say Reimer is 2.5. Reimer 2.5. 2.5 for 2. There we go. Yeah, it didn't really help. Let's say 2. So the math works out better. Let's say 2, like that. A lot of changes here. I mean, yeah, like if Philip Deneau, and you have $5,000 left in cap space there. So yeah, this is pushing it over here. But yeah, that's with Ovechkin being signed. That's if Reimer takes a $2 million deal. That's also Savard and Demers on the right side. So yeah, not terrible, but not great. Obviously, this is like with Ovechkin. So let's go back. Let's revert the Ovechkin signing. This is where, honestly, I'll just leave it at this. This is where, with the 11 million, I'll give Reimer back the what's it called, the $2.5 million deal that I signed him at. So let's say 2.5. What if the Habs could get Mrazek also? That'd be interesting. He might be worth a little bit more than the Habs could afford. Oops, didn't get deleted properly for whatever reason. Reimer signed 2.5. Oh, did I not delete him? There you go. Don't mind my stupidity. But anyway, yeah. So here we go. So this is kind of what I'll just leave it at this, honestly, and just say that this is where the Habs are kind of at in terms of their center position, in terms of their ability, just in terms of what they can do realistically. Because I think it's more realistic that they get, honestly, I think it's more realistic that they get Savard and Demers, and that than it is that they get Hamilton in free agency. So yeah, so I'd say realistically that's more likely. And then I'm just going to leave it here in terms of, Bozak, you could throw in Stastny maybe for a little bit more, but if they get Bozak for cheap, then they're looking at a lot more money that they can spend if they want to get a scoring winger. And keep in mind, they're going to have to pay Suzuki eventually. They're going to have to pay Kotkaniemi in 2 years. They're going to have to pay Romanov in a year. So yeah, I would say this is kind of what you're looking at, and I'll leave it up to you to decide where they go from here. Obviously, like I said, that's like without the Ovechkin dream, but let's look at a couple more comments here. Need some cap space for Suzuki, like I mentioned. Dixon Automotive Group and Schwartz was rumored to come to the Habs in exchange for Pacioretty during the 17-18 season. He'd be okay on the second line. I mean, like at this point, this is where you're looking to build the Habs more in terms of being depth, like just like, not top heavy, but good depth, which helped them in the playoffs for sure, but not so much in the regular season. And when you're going to go back to the regular realignment of Tampa and Boston and Florida and obviously Ottawa being better and them being all in your division, that's where you're going to need to be a little bit more top heavy if you can afford it. You know what? I floated this idea. You know what? While we're still here, I'll play this game one more time. And I don't think Merrill's worth keeping, honestly. Dixon Automotive Group, maybe I don't think Merrill's worth keeping, especially when you have good prospects at defense. I wouldn't keep Merrill, honestly. But yeah, let's play this game here of what if we offer sheet Svechnikov? I did say we're not doing trades, but I did not say we can't do offer sheets. So let's play the offer sheet game of Svechnikov at 11, or sorry, let's say 10.276. 10.276. So 10.276, 8.29 or 8.28. So there you go for, let's say, 7 years. Svechnikov. How does that look? And that's also, you can, let's say, maybe we'll keep Bozak for cheap there. Maybe we'll keep Bozak for cheap. I also paid Savard and Demers. So how does this look now if we do something like this here? Svechnikov on a line with, oops, that didn't go up there. Svechnikov, Suzuki, Caulfield. Why is Caulfield listed as a center? I don't know why. But then Kotkaniemi, Gallagher, Toffoli, Evans, Byron, Anderson, something like that. Or even Lehkonen, Anderson, take your pick. Bozak, Perry, and yeah, this looks a little bit more attractive, doesn't it? But that's if you have Andrei Svechnikov, which given what the Habs did with Sebastian Aho a couple of years ago, and you know what? Yeah, let's just go all out and play the idea of if they just, like I tweeted out earlier before on my Twitter at Mike Langer, like what the Red Sox and the Yankees did to the Oakland A's in Moneyball with Jason Giambi and Johnny Damon. If the Habs decide to just rip out the hearts and the kidneys of the Carolina Hurricanes, let's just play this stupid game of if they go after Hamilton and Svechnikov, UFA Might as well do the same thing with like Ovechkin, Dougie Hamilton over here. Let's say 7/9. There we go. 7/9. Hamilton. Then what I would do here is get rid of Bozak. They wouldn't be able to afford Bozak. Well, they wouldn't be able to afford much, honestly. Reimer's still 2.5. Yeah, you're kind of looking at something like this. Petrie, Sherratt, Hamilton, Romanov, and yeah, there won't be space for that right-handed defenseman, pretty much. And this is also with Paul Byron still there, which will he not get protected and get claimed? I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at with not much more space left. And I think I'm going to end it at that because I've been doing this for 50 minutes now. Last comment here. Did Ottawa sign Tkachuk? I don't think they did. I mean, that's another way they could go is offer sheet Brady Tkachuk. That would be interesting. But yeah, oh boy, the Canes are going to hate the Habs now if they do this, which would be revenge for them signing Sebastian Aho and matching the offer sheet that the Habs signed him to a couple of years ago. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Big weekend in terms of the protection list being submitted. If there aren't already news on that already, I think some news got leaked on that. But the teams, I think, had to submit their protection list by today, and then we'll know a little bit more about it. I think they get announced tomorrow, and then the expansion draft, of course, is on Wednesday. So obviously no more trades are able to happen because of the trade freeze. And yeah, and then it's the draft and then free agency starting July 28th. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this stream. Going to cut it here as usual. If you enjoy my commentary, if you want to engage on if you enjoy the discussion, give me a big thumbs up here and subscribe to my channel. I just had my 1-year anniversary yesterday in terms of how long I did this channel. So give me a big thumbs up on that video as well that I posted yesterday. And I stayed up until 4 a.m. making. So yeah, just go and give it a thumbs up on that as well. And as usual, thank you so much for tuning in to this live stream here on youtube.com/Langer at the mic. Have an awesome weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.